Whistler Bike Park is undoubtedly one of the best places to ride mountain bikes in the entire world. This place has everything you can imagine, from high-speed jump trails to steep routes and rocks to loam. The entire bike park is divided up into 4 zones, consisting of Fitzsimmons, Garbanzo, Peak, and Creekside, all of which have more high-quality trail than most bike parks alone. But what if I told you that 90% of the trail types were located in a small section of the mountain? Welcome to the Fitzsimmons zone, where you'll find some of the most iconic trails on the mountain, like A-Line, Crank It Up, and Dirt Merchant. This area is packed with trails nestled close together, offering countless unique ways to descend the mountain. Whistler would still be world-renowned even if it were just made up of these trails. The Fitzsimmons zone can be overwhelming for many first-time riders, so my aim is to help you get oriented and comfortably navigate the trails while also sharing my recommendations on must-ride trails. I highly recommend checking out my Whistler Bike Park review and guide linked in the description, as that video covers a more broad overview of the entire bike park. It all starts in Whistler Village, the launch pad of the trails in the bike park and the place to get up the mountain. You can access this zone by taking the Whistler Village gondola and unloading at mid-station, but the most popular way is to take the brand new Fitzsimmons Express, which holds 5 riders and 5 bikes on every chair. You can put your bike in the rack on the chair in front of you or hook it onto the frame, while grabbing it at the top. It's super easy and works very efficiently at getting people up the mountain. From there, you're probably wondering which trails are best since there's so many options. Let's walk through the flow trail progression matrix to get you accustomed to all these trails. Easy Does It is considered the most beginner-friendly trail at the bike park. If this is your first time, take a right off the chairlift and follow the green signs all the way down the mountain. This trail is wide and easy to go fast on to get new riders used to bike park and allow for progression to other green and blue trails. The other green trails to try exist off Easy Does It, and both offer wide sweeping corners good for beginners. The first blue trail to try is called Beeline, located in the main pod of trails after taking a left off the lift, pedaling around the lodge and up a small hill. Beeline is a key step in progression, as this trail introduces small tabletop jumps for practice on getting your tires off the ground. Heart of Darkness comes next, and to be honest, this is one of the roughest trails in the bike park due to the brake bumps, so repeat laps on this are not the most fun. The next key step in progression is a blue trail called Crank It Up, with moderately sized jumps the entire way down. Crank It Up starts near Beeline and works its way out to the farthest regions of the zone before winding back under the lift. The jumps are all super safe and easy to progress through, making this one of the most enjoyable blue trails in the bike park. About halfway down the trail, you'll find a split with Crank It Up to the right and Seymour to the left. Seymour is the next step up in progression, with larger tabletop jumps and corners that require a tad more commitment. They're all fairly easy to get over and flow very nicely, so as an experienced rider, this trail is a go-to warm-up lap. At this point, I would also recommend attempting some of the technical blue trails before moving on, which we'll go through in a minute. If you can comfortably clear all the jumps on Seymour, you're officially ready to attempt A-Line, the most famous jump trail in the world. A-Line has countless tabletop jumps that range up to 30 feet in size. This trail is famous for a reason, and it's a must-ride for those who are capable. The trail has 5 zones, my favorites being the second and third. It starts out after taking a left off the lift through a meadow with some fun jumps, then enters the forest for my favorite part. This jump is called the Tombstone and leads into more big floaters for the next few jumps. After continuing into Zone 3, you'll find the iconic rock drop and ski jump, followed by large sweeping berms into the moon booter a ways down. The trail ends with a fast and tight tech section, then 2 corners into a big step up that everyone in the village can see. But you can go up even higher in progression than A-Line in just this one zone. Fade to Black is the first trail where gap jumps and drops are mandatory, as everything was rollable up to this point. The trail is short and sweet, starting out with a wood drop, then some more fun jumps. This trail can be found by taking Ninja Cougar, which is adjacent to the start of A-Line Zone 2. I always try and find an excuse to sneak a lap in on Fade to Black. It's just that fun. At this point, we're into pro line territory, and only expert jumpers should ride these next few trails. I disagree with the progression matrix and recommend Dwayne Johnson as the first step. It only has 3 features, starting with a long run into step up followed by a rock drop or roll, finishing off with a small gap jump. This trail is accessed midway down the mountain next to Lower Whistler Downhill. The next step up might be the best jump trail in Whistler, and it's called Dirt Merchant. This trail starts out as a double black, but splits to become a pro line midway through. After taking a right off the chairlift towards Easy Does It and dropping in, the trail starts off right with a bang. There are continuous flowing step-ups and angled lips built super well. At the trail split, taking a left is the more tame Ripon Rutabaga trail, which is mostly tabletops and berms. However, taking a right gets you into some of the most fun imaginable. These wooden drops are some of the most famous wood features in the bike park, and each measure in significantly over 10 feet in height. This step up is also not small by any means. I can 100% say this is my favorite jump trail in the park, but there's one more with even bigger jumps. Crabapple Hits is a pro line with the largest jumps in Whistler. You can access this trail by taking a right off the lift, then another right into Upper Angry Pirate, a single black tech trail. This jump line gets progressively bigger, and all the jump speeds work intuitively. The rock jump is key to maintaining speed into the 40+ foot jumps ahead. The lips all have a good radius and feel super floaty, so this trail's fun to lap. If you make it through, you're back at the entrance of A-Line Zone 3 and ready for more bike park laps. That was everything important in the Fitzsimmons zone for flow and jump trails, so let's shift our focus to the technical trails. Jumping back to the bottom of the matrix, there's not much special in terms of green runs, but Del Bocca Vista off Easy Does It might be one of the most fun green trails ever. Even experienced riders should take a lap down this trail at some point due to well-executed trail building. It's good practice for tight corners, which are very common in harder trails at this bike park. Whistler Blue Tech trails are some of my favorites, and there's so many good options to pick from. My favorite technical warm-up lap consists of several blue trails and allows you to get some great variety down the mountain. After taking a left off the lift and pedaling to the main trail hub, I start on B-line, followed quickly by a turn into Funshine rolly drops. This short but sweet trail is a great intro to intermediate tech, as it ranks as the easiest blue trail in this zone. This trail will spit you out directly at the start of Smoke and Mirrors. This trail's a little longer with a few steeper bits, but completely manageable and a fun one to practice cornering on. Whenever I want to work on letting off the brakes and going fast, Smoke and Mirrors is a great trail to practice on, with many straight sections full of rocks and roots to plow through. This lap continues with Blueseum, a short but sweet trail with a fun rock slab to corner, and a few other chunky bits. Wednesday Night Delight comes next, and this trail consists of 2 corners into a few wood drops. It's short but really fun to ride. At this point, you reach another small trail hub with several options. Devil's Club is the route to continue down for Blue Tech. This trail is world famous for the long ladder bridges that wind down the hillside and the prickly plant that lines most of the trail's edge. I usually finish out this lap by connecting to Longhorn, a short trail with the best berms in the bike park, then Hornet. Hornet has this really cool double jump that rides really nicely and leads right out next to the bottom of the lift. This warm-up lap allows you to ride some of the best blue tech trails on the mountain and get a good feel for what Whistler has to offer. As you get more into advanced tech, most of the steeper trails are located in Garbanzo, but the Fitzsimmons zone still has some good options. The first black tech trail to try is called Upper Angry Pirate. This trail rides like a blue trail except for one rock feature that's a little bit harder than what you would find on the blues. You can access this trail to the right of the lift and immediately after the metal bridge. It leads into either Crabapple Hits or Lower Angry Pirate. Lower Whistler Downhill is another fun black tech trail. This one is super fast and rides at significantly higher speed than most other trails in the bike park. The third trail I recommend is called Afternoon Delight. This one starts midway down next to trail entrances for Devil's Club, Pulp Fiction, Beeline, and more. This spot is also the end of Dwayne Johnson and Wednesday Night Delight. Afternoon Delight is a longer trail with lots of rocks and roots, offering a pretty typical black tech experience. It gets gnarly once you get into double black territory. Double black tech comes in abundance all over this bike park, so let me highlight my 5 favorites on the lower mountain. Starting with Canadian Open Downhill, this trail is located midway down the mountain and is famous for the long and tall drop right under the lift. Most of this trail is incredibly high speed, but it gets steeper and rockier towards the bottom. I always make sure to get a lap on this at some point every day. I also enjoy riding Pulp Fiction, a short but super exhilarating trail next to Afternoon Delight and Devil's Club. This one has a few skinnies and ladder bridges to test your skill, and finishes with some steep chutes into tight catch berms. Another must-ride trail for experts is Tatiana, which starts right next to Pulp Fiction. I would argue this one is even a little more difficult, especially in the wet. The whole trail is steep routes with tight corners that push the limits of bike control. At the end, there's a scary slab into a right-hand corner that I've messed up more times than I care to admit. My favorite 2 expert tech trails are Upper Joyride and Schleyer. Both of these trails start at the main trail hub to the left of the chair. Both trails do a great job of mixing tech and flow with each other, such as this rock drop on Schleyer into a long steep slab runout, or this long intimidating rock roll on Joyride that gets you up to speed fast. So that's my guide to the Fitzsimmons zone of Whistler Bike Park. I know it was a lot of me talking at you, but I hope that gave you an in-depth guide to some of the best trails in the world. I'm currently working on making a top 10 list of my favorite trails in the entire bike park, so stay tuned for more content very soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.